Yeah, let's see who we've got.
Tony's over there.
Yeah. All right. Oh, hey, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Who are we missing? We are missing
Mimi and
Sean
John.
and yeah, Mimi. Okay.
Oh, Mimi's over there,
Okay.
or maybe she's here.
No, let me pull her over. Oh, there she goes. Okay.
And John too.
Sure you want me to pull John over? I mean, come on.
I mean, you know, either way. Let's see.
Hi, Mimi.
All
Hi,
right, I
John.
guess.
You didn't need to pull me over. I would have been okay. Hi, everybody. Let me turn some lights on. I was having a hard time getting on for some reason. It wouldn't let me in.
Me
Don't turn the
too.
lights on. Don't turn the lights on. I like the horror movie look.
All right, well, that gives us everybody. So why don't we call this meeting to order? This is the May 3rd, not May 2nd, meeting of the Southborough ARPA Committee. And it's 7:33. Let's do a roll call. Mr. Martell.
Hello.
Ms. Rubenstein.
Here.
Mr. Wood.
Here.
Mr. Palmer.
Here.
Ms. Luttrell.
Here.
Mr. Schoner.
Here.
I am here. Andrea Hamilton. Great. So jumping quickly over to the agenda. All right. Let me know when you can see. What am I sharing? Hang on. Oh, nope. That's not what I want to share. Share this. There we go. All right. Can everyone see? So primarily this meeting today is to review and work on our final report. So I've got a template that we can work our way through, finalizing out any next steps. We've got, I believe, 3 sets of meeting minutes to vote on. So from the 10th, the 21st, and the 10th, the 7th, and the 26th. Unfinished business, and then again at the end we'll close out with public comment and make sure we're clear on our next meeting, which it's possible we won't need. We'll see where we get to today. So let me jump over to the report out. So I did send a note to Lisa, letting her know that we had voted and asking kind of how they wanted to move forwards. I gave them the option that, you know, we could provide something at the end of the day if they needed it before town meeting, but I didn't get any response to that, just that they're going to look at extending the mandate in their next open session to the 31st, which would basically be the end of the month, so that we could come in on the 17th. So once I have the final date and information, I will let everyone know. But as of now, that's my expectation, is that we'll be on the agenda on the 17th. Good. All right. So I'm gonna propose, I put together some slides. I'm gonna suggest we just sort of run through them. We can make edits and updates as we go. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes, good. Okay.
Thank you for
I
doing
just
that, by
make
the
an
way.
initial
Oh, yeah.
comment here,
Yes.
Andrea, that you did an incredibly good job pulling these slides together.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Tony.
Just incredible. So, and now I'll turn it back to you.
I'm hoping we'll just have like a bunch of stuff that we just like throw at the board, and they'll just be like, so much stuff, we agree with all of it. That's, you know,
These are
just overwhelmed
great,
with.
great slides.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I second that. Particularly breaking down each of the each of the projects that we approved. That was just really very nice. Very
Is
good
that
job.
is that a formal second? Do we need to take a vote on how great the slides
No,
are?
not
Yeah.
formal.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So title, I'll add the date and information once I have it. For now, it's just a title card. So basically I have 3 sections. So the review of the committee, the charge, and what we're allowed to use the money for, and any restrictions, our overall timeline and approach, the survey results, and then our recommendations. Anything anyone wants to change here? Not okay. So our committee composition, right? So let me know if anyone wants me to change how I have their name. I think I did abbreviated names. If anyone wants their full formal name, I can do that. But otherwise, here's everyone and their which committee they represent. And then I did want to highlight that we've been meeting basically weekly since the committee was pulled together in late January, right? And that anyone who wants more information on any individual meeting, what we've done, can go to the website. This is the slide that Marnie had put together based on the overall charge, right? So, or the charter that we have. So it's the $3 million. We have to solicit input from the town departments, boards, committees, and commissions. I believe we have done that. Solicit input from the Southborough community through means including but not limited to surveys and public forums. I think we have done that. We shall develop an evaluation tool to rank proposals for funding, taking into account the benefit of the requested improvement to town operations and or the community as a whole. I think we've done that. Develop a report. That's what this is. Include a list of all proposals submitted for consideration in addition to those recommended for funding. So we have that. Present to the select board at a regularly scheduled meeting no later than May 16th. I think it is going to be May 17th, but such is life. And be prepared to discuss our process and findings. And then, right, we've talked a lot about this March 1 date, but in the end, that wasn't really meaningful. Everyone good with the slide? Hey.
You know, guys, we should give ourselves a pat in the back because I thought this was a really aggressive schedule when we started it, and nice job, everybody. Did phenomenal. I can't believe it got done.
I agree. I mean, when I was putting together the timeline, I hadn't really connected that we did all this in 3 months, but it was really like from the time we first met to when we voted on our recommendations was 3 months. I mean, this whole thing will have been done in less than 4. So I think that's probably like some sort of a record speed for for committee work.
No, I think we're good. I think we could have done it faster.
Oh,
We're
way
that good,
faster.
you know.
Way faster.
Dedication.
Set the bar, right? No, we don't get to do it faster. You said the next group has to do it faster. Okay, so what the funds can be used for. Lost my little star here. So this is again the slide that Marnie had put together. I just wanted to highlight, I added a little star here for the government services because that's really what we are under for everything, right? So that's this recipients may elect a standard allowance of $10 million to spend on government services through the period of performance. So that's basically what covers everything. I mean, we have individual things that in theory fall under these other buckets, but truthfully, everything we've done can just be considered under this $10 million umbrella, right? So then I added a slide because I think the allowance has caused a lot of confusion. So I just put one in here, right? So this is pulling from the from some final rule documentation that was sent out. I could put a citation on it, but it's basically that recipients may elect a standard allowance of $10 million spent on government services through the period of performance. Government services generally include any service traditionally provided by a government, unless Treasury has stated otherwise. So it's really just things that are excluded, not anything specifically that's included. And then it says government services is the most flexible eligible use category under the SLFRF program. The funds are subject to streamlined reporting and compliance requirements. Recipients should be mindful that certain restrictions, which are detailed further, and we have in the next slide, and the restrictions of use section apply to all uses of funds, apply to the government services as well. But basically, this is a very broad category. Anything that the town could do is covered in this section because we're only at the $3 million mark. So the restrictions of use are a couple categories. So this one doesn't apply to us because it's just for states and territories. So it's for offsetting taxes. I went and just double checked this one to make sure there wasn't anything, because I know we propose a reduction to offset taxes, but it's really just applied to state and territories. Our property tax pieces should not be impacted here. Deposits into pension funds. We have not done anything to a deposit into a pension fund. No debt servicing. We are not proposing to service debt. No satisfaction of settlements and judgments. And then this is really just anything that goes against COVID-19 mitigation. So you couldn't use it to fund something that would like provide misinformation about COVID-19 or something like that. So again, not to what I see, nothing we have done violates any of these categories. We good here? Okay. So our overall timeline. So again, we held our first meeting in late January. We finalized our recommendations at the end of April. So that's our 3-month window, right? So within that, by the end of January, we'd sent out the request for proposals. We had about a month where different town departments and committees and boards were putting together their proposals. We opened the survey in early March, and that was open for about 3 weeks. We held a public forum in late March. And then by the end of April, we had finalized our recommendations, and now mid-May doing the report out to the select board. So a pretty aggressive timeline. Are there any kind of major milestones that anyone thinks we should include here that I've missed? This seems like the big ones. Okay.
Just
All right.
town meeting.
Should we put town meeting? Oh, we don't really impact town meeting in any way.
No, it's not that important. You're right.
But is it just sort of to have the benchmark, like we had recommendations but before town meeting? Is that useful?
Yeah. Yeah. Report out and then town meeting.
Yeah. Well, but our report out's going to be after
No,
town meeting.
don't add that. I
Nope.
don't think that adds any new information.
I mean, we have provided the option to have something at the end of tonight, and I was not taken up on it. So anything else anyone would want to add here in terms of milestones? I think these are the big ones. Okay. So soliciting proposals, right? So a proposal request was sent to all town chairs, boards, committees, and department heads. So we did a really thorough blanketing of anyone in town that could potentially submit a proposal. I mean, in addition to this, we also did some selective petitioning out to the food bank and some other groups, but I think I can just speak to that. This covers it really, I think.
Just a typo there, I guess you see.
Yeah, that's true. We provided a standard template. In that we included the sort of priorities that we had set. So the ongoing pandemic related need for Southborough residents and businesses, health or economic, reducing the property tax burden for town residents, addressing a significant community want, and risk reducing future town expenditure. And I will say this risk reducing one was really geared towards some feasibility studies that we thought we'd end up funding, but in the end, we really had sufficient kind of ready to go projects that we didn't end up doing any feasibility, but I think that's okay. We can kind of say we were able to satisfy like the top 3 priorities with what came in, which I think is good. We also sent an additional email expressing the committee's hesitancy towards funding long-term staffing positions with ARPA money. So that was additional guidance that went out. And we had follow-up conducted by individual committee members and invitations to speak at committee meetings. We ended up receiving more than 30 proposals from at least 14 different groups. And I added it up, and kind of depending on how you slice and dice what came in, we had $4 to $5 million worth of projects. So we only had $3 million. So I just wanted to make a note that, you know, all the proposals that came in were really thoughtful and had merit, but truly we couldn't do everything. We had more than we could do here. So there are things that likely will come before town meeting in future warrants. And our rejection of them here is not an indictment of them. It's just that we truly could not do everything. Anything anyone thinks we should adjust here? We good? I know this is all this is happening fast in real time. I want to also, maybe what we do is we go through it once here tonight, and then everyone can sit with it for the week, and next week we can have one kind of final quick touch point. And if anyone has any additional adjustments they want, Tony's shaking his head. He's like, no, we're just doing it. It's just going to be done. All right, I'm open to either option. If people feel like they need a little more time to look at the end, then we can always have one more sort of touch point meeting after. All right, we good with this one? Okay.
I tell you, these are great slides.
Thanks, Tony. I
You-
make a
you-
lot of slides.
You did a really good job on this, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of changes tonight.
Awesome. Okay, so addressing the survey to solicit town feedback. All right, so this was part of the town satisfaction survey. Was that the official name, Ann? It was the town satisfaction survey. Did I get that right?
Southborough satisfaction survey, I believe. But town seems okay to me.
I can include lowercase town.
I don't know.
We had significant advertising throughout the town and by our direct mailer to all residents. I think it's important to highlight that there was a lot of effort that went in here towards making sure folks are aware of this. Ultimately, we presented 17 ranked choice options. We did have a small adjustment to some of the wording and the addition of the trails a couple days in, but we did look at it pre and post that to see if that impacted results. Ultimately, we had 674 participants, which is good. That's better than the satisfaction survey had, and it's better than the satisfaction survey in previous years. This was a pretty robust response we had. And I think it speaks to sort of the advertising efforts that went along with it. I did note that we also had an open forum on March 25th, but we had very limited attendance. So this isn't a significant factor in our overall decision-making process. And then a thank you to Matt and then Marianne and Brian for their help with the survey. And then you can see over here, right, that, the majority of people either ranked everything we had or only left, one blank. So at least about half of the respondents really did go through and rank almost everything in the survey. So it was pretty, again, I think this just goes to the robustness of our response. Anything anyone wants to see adjusted here? Good.
Andrea.
Yeah.
Do you think that it says survey to solicit town feedback, and then it says part of town satisfaction survey? Do you think we should note that it was a separate survey, or ARPA survey concurrent with satisfaction survey or something like that? If they're looking at the pie chart, are they going to understand that's the ARPA results? Do other people think that's questionable, or is it just me?
So more like this, Fran, concurrent with town satisfaction survey would be an alternative.
Yeah. And maybe say ARPA survey at the top, the headline.
Yeah. Does that work for folks?
Works for me.
Instead of using part of the town satisfaction survey for the first point, you could put addendum on there too, if you want to make it separate but equal sort of thing. Just verbiage.
Like this addendum to town satisfaction survey.
Yeah, I mean, that to Ann's point, if you want to make it seem more separate, it was there, but it was an addendum. It wasn't the same.
Yeah.
survey.
Does that work for language?
Sure.
Good. Okay. Anything else on this one? Okay. So the survey results. So I just grabbed the first one that they had, right? So this is just looking at the rank, the majority rules choice here. But I think this is a good one because the 6 that pop up here, because there's one that's at a tie, these are the 6 that no matter kind of how we looked at it and sliced it and diced it, always fell in the top 5. So we have kind of a top 6 that land in our top 5, right? And so this is the majority rules analysis for all responses. The survey was analyzed in several ways, but the six proposals above always represented the top 5 selections. Is that it's a little confusing. Is that clear? Do you think if you weren't kind of part of this? Because we had the ranked choice, we had, looking at it after we'd made the changes, and just these 6 were always the top 5. So I think when we start to go through the individual proposals, these are all what we will consider kind of significant town wants per the survey. Good?
Yeah,
Okay, so then we jump into the proposals that we are recommending. Right now, I have it sort of separated by things that have kind of clear, like the number, the cost is the number that was given to us by the group. And then at the end, I talk through the ones that have more flexible numbers because there's more justification around the number itself. I don't know if others have different ways that they think would make sense to kind of organize these. I'm happy to move them around, but for right now, I'll just kind of go through each slide and then we can think if there's a different way to organize it. So the senior
Yeah,
center
so-
renovation.
So Andrew,
Oh,
you
yeah,
don't
go
have to read, you don't have to read each slide here, right? I mean, everyone can read these.
You want to just read them and then tell me if you got anything you want to change?
Yeah.
I like the way it's organized. It's a very quick way of understanding it.
It's a great way of representing it.
And I figure if there's additional questions, we can all speak to it, right? I think we all understand why we picked all of these.
Mhm.
Excellent
Anything-
picture. Excellent picture. So this looks great.
I just stole them off of whoever had pictures in their responses. I didn't dig. Anything anyone wants to adjust here? I'm gonna say architectural drawings. Okay. Move on.
Mhm.
Okay. Had semicolons before and the other ones.
Looks good to me.
Okay.
The justification is excellent.
Yeah. Are we good to move on?
Yes.
Okay. You good with the language here? I tried to be open-ended towards how they want to use it. So we don't have an opinion either way. Anything anyone wants to change here? Okay. I'm gonna do, I think this is very long. Do this.
So I don't recall, just a question on this, someone might ask. So in the note below, do we know when the grant might be awarded?
I don't know. Does anyone here know the timing on the grant?
I believe Catherine said it was sometime later this year. This was one of the ones where there is time, if the grant comes through, for money to kick back and be easily allotted to something else, was what I remember from my conversation with Catherine. So, but she was she was going to wait for the grant to expend the money. And if she, but she didn't count on, the grants are few and far between. So there's a good chance she's not going to get one, and she knows that. So this money will make it possible.
Should I say money will not be spent before grant? Grant decision.
Yeah, or maybe just say, I don't know, grant decision expected by year end.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, the other thing is the time between now and the grant will also give the committee time to really finalize the specifics with, you know, getting it done. So they seem like a real capable group over there.
Looks good.
Good.
Yep.
Okay. Is that clear? Town purchase of National Grid property. Should we add any detail around the proposed uses, or is that something that the select board will understand? That's fine. Is that good?
I wouldn't add anything.
Okay.
I mean, you could put the word opportunity somewhere in there, presents a variety of opportunities to use the downtown area or to improve the downtown area, something like that.
You could also describe it as just a future town asset, which is really,
Yeah, I like that better.
Tell me what's right.
represents a future financial town asset.
That's nice, Joe.
Good, like this. Okay. Anything else? Good. Okay. Technology infrastructure updates. Anything else? Are there any adjustments?
Looks good to me.
Okay. This is ADA upgrades. Any adjustments? Okay. This is the signage for Southborough Historic District. Is the justification okay? I was sort of like, I feel like it was a little lighter on this one, but I think a lot of it was just that it was like very concrete and easy to do with money that requires things to be concrete and easy to do.
Yeah, this one is just so obvious.
Yeah.
Okay. We good?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so now we get into the ones that have more flexible numbers attached. So the justifications should speak to both the thing we're doing as well as the number we propose, because this is where we're recommending both the thing and the number attached to the thing. Shouldn't say for this
Yeah,
year, this is for
so-
FY '23, right?
I mean, the only thing I wonder here is that last sentence in the justification, if we should just remove that.
Let's see, this is the number one, want the survey, many of the other recommended proposals would otherwise require funding through the warrants. This number does not reflect the full reduction in property tax. You think it does just confuse it?
I just don't know what that actually says personally.
I think I was trying to say that, so we have this money specifically reducing to be applied to future warrants, but that a lot of other stuff we have in here is also reducing the warrant.
Yeah, I don't.
But
I
it's,
just-
yeah.
Yeah, at least for me, that's unnecessary.
Do folks agree?
I think simple is better.
All right, it can just be the number one want in the survey.
Yeah,
And that,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think everyone gets what this is.
are folks okay with the justification on the number? I was just said it represents a number the committee feels can bring significant reduction to overall property tax burden while balancing against other needs, right? There's no, the number's a little made up, but just kind of because that's what fits with the other things we want to do here.
Yep.
Good. And then sort of with that, the needs-based economic relief.
Should
Yeah,
we
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
say,
There's just a typo in here. I think that as well as those with need, I think it's who need, maybe the last sentence, last sentence.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yep, nope, got it. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just wondering, I just lost my, should we say due to the pandemic, allocate funds to provide needs-based relief to citizens facing economic hardship due to COVID-19 or the pandemic? Is that necessary, do you think? Does it add
I
impact?
mean, it ties it directly to kind of what the final rule is getting at with this kind of this bucket, right? I mean, it's really broad. It doesn't have to be that you got COVID-19. There's lots of things that. Does that make sense to folks if I do it like that?
I guess my only concern about putting those words in is if someone who comes and asks for help, do they actually have to say that they need help because of COVID-19?
That's a really good point, Tony.
Yeah,
So
I didn't think of that.
I think we're just allocating money to people who need help, and we're leaving it loose because it's probably good to leave it loose.
Okay, I can go with that, Tony.
And I think this one's still a little loosey-goosey, and the actual like administration of it, I think we can just provide the recommendation that the Southborough Board of Commissioners of Trust, the trust fund is the area we thought made sense. And then the select board, if they have a different way they would want to do something like this, can figure it out. Does that make sense?
The last sentence, greater relief that provided, should it be than that provided?
Those in town who did not benefit from the property tax abatement, as well as those who need greater relief than, you are correct, that provided by property tax reduction. Good. And is it clear, because I know this is one we've gotten in circles on a little bit, that it's not to make up for the lack of not getting property tax reduction, it's just to provide another avenue, because there are people who will get some money back in this one way. And then this is a more needs-based approach, and it allows for those who need more than what the property tax does, or aren't getting the property tax and have an economic hardship or whatever, or whatever. That clear?
I think that's very well worded.
Okay. Moving on. All right, sidewalks. Are we here? Anything anyone wants to see adjusted? Okay. Okay, premium pay for eligible town employees.
Do we want to use the word bonus?
Did I use the bonus? Yeah, probably not, right?
Did we say hazard or?
I put hazard somewhere in there and
Yeah, or just say premium pay, right? I mean, that's how it's all described, right?
yeah, but you know what? I'd still put hazard pay because that's really what it is.
How is it worded in the proposal we received from the fire department and the police?
Let me see.
We should use their words.
Oh, I think the original ARPA language, I think that was how the premium got in here in the first place, because I think that was in the
Yeah.
ARPA language.
Premium pay is the ARPA language. The fire one uses the premium pay language.
In the ARPA language, didn't it also have another word that it wasn't hazard, but it was something like that on that slide with the 4 guidelines?
This one here.
Because we could use it, say, you
Essential.
could insert premium and then a slash hazard. So you're actually, because I think using the ARPA language makes sense, but also using another term makes sense as well, because both of them describe it perfectly. One's the ARPA language, one's the way we would describe it, which I think is important.
I'm gonna add one time because that's in the fire department statement. They say one time a lot. I think that just make that clear, right? This is not ongoing. So there's currently no other mechanism to provide premium hazard pay to town employees who act as essential workers during the pandemic. The committee feels it is correct to provide premium pay to compensate for this work.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay? Good. All right. So then I just did a, oops, sorry,
I was going to say, before we do this slide, then it seems like there should be one slide that summarizes like the previous 14 line items. You know, whatever, you know, the dozen or so things that we're actually recommend to fund. You know what I mean? And then show what we did not choose.
okay, so
Does that make sense to everyone else?
Are you looking for a summary page of projects and amounts?
Yeah.
That's the idea? Okay.
would it make sense to do it like as a table and have like the what is it and the number, and then we can have the total at the bottom?
Yeah, just
Something like
whatever
that.
is simplest, just, you know, the title of the project, the number and the total. Yeah.
What's the number? You mean the number being the total, or is that different?
No, the way you know, senior center, sidewalks, you know, and put their numbers and then total it up at the bottom.
So, proposal cost, and then at the end we do a total. And you know, we should also have a line that's because there's a couple funny, there's like the previous, well, it's just the audit support. I'll include that in there as a line to show like the full tallying.
Yeah, wherever the $3.05 million went, it should all be listed on here.
Yeah, we're like $5,000 like below it, but that's going to get eaten up in consultant fees and stuff anyway. But yeah, I'll show I can do that. I can just populate this in. I mean, do we want to do it now, or do we want to? I can do it offline. That'll be pretty quick.
You are clearly the master of creating slides.
So many slides. Okay. So I'll add this in. And then proposals not funded. So we had the implementation of townwide event and schedule. I'll let people read. Tell me, I did this very quick. So if you see errors or anything you think should be adjusted, please just let me know. Let's double check on the septic software one. I thought that was true, but. Okay. Yeah. that's-
And I guess that was your last slide. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks great.
Anything in here anyone wants to adjust? I lumped all the feasibility studies together, which I think is fine.
We should have had you taking the minutes, Andrea. You did a great job of summarizing.
I hate minutes. Um, good.
Yes.
Is there anything like holistically, like adding the summary recommendation that we think is missing here? Kind of in the overall arc of what we did and what we're proposing? Are we okay with the ordering of the proposals? I mean, it's just, we'll just go through them. Good. Anything else? Are we good with these?
I'm good with it. I think it's an excellent presentation.
That's great.
Awesome.
Excellent.
All right. So I will update the one slide and then I will send them around to everybody. I'll ask if you know, if you happen to be looking, you see something egregious, feel free to just email me directly and I can make the update. Otherwise, we'll just be waiting at that point for when the select board wants us to come in and do the presentation. Again, my assumption at this point. Oh, Anne.
I just have a question. Are we doing this presentation in person and is the full committee going to attend?
So my assumption is that the full committee attends. I would hope the full committee attends. I don't know if the select board is meeting in person. Does anyone here know?
They
I
are,
believe,
they
yeah,
have the owl working.
What's the owl?
It's an acronym for something technical, but it shows the whole room and you can have
Okay.
people participate remotely, like attendees can be remote and add comment. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's one of those things we decided not to fund, right?
Yeah, I think so, right? No, because they already have a solution, is what it sounds like.
Well, they asked for like 500,000 for conference rooms, but these, I guess, are cheap. They're like $5,000.
They're like $5,000 and they're just the latest version of all this video conferencing stuff. So yeah, so do you think we should go in person or not? What do you guys think?
if it's possible, I think it would be nice to have the committee in person.
I like in-person meetings.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a Tuesday around 6:30. I'm unlikely to make it, but I don't know how that impacts other people's schedules.
What the? I mean, so the other option is we can ask them to do just a special meeting with us. Like, I think this is going to take a while. I think this is going to be a big chunk of their time. So I don't think it would be crazy to have.
That might be a better option if you want to set up a meeting, right? We could have a joint meeting on an alternate date.
I like that idea, actually.
I did make that offer. I haven't heard back on kind of what the preference is at this point. But if we would prefer, where's the select board?
I think there'll be a
Um,
new select board chair by then, anyway.
So Tim, so 6:30 is a problem, but 7:30 is okay if it happened to be that Tuesday, the 17th?
Yeah,
So if we just said that we wanted to start at 7:30 that night, they can do their other business and we're on the agenda at 7:30.
yeah. I mean, also I can join in when I can join in, right? As long as you guys have a quorum.
Yeah, so I just have that their upcoming meeting is May 17th. I don't have a time. But I mean, why don't I just ask if we can do 7:30?
Yeah, why don't we say we want to be on at 7:30?
That doesn't seem crazy, right? And I say, I'm happy to be in person. Anyone who's happy to be in person, but it sounds like we also have the ability to be remote. And so if you can't be in person or prefer not to be, then log on remote. But I think having the full committee present would be good. I think that's all right. All right, so I will follow up with Lisa. I'm going to assume that she's able to give us the extra day. And that we'll ask to be on around 7:30. And my assumption is that we're going to need at least an hour, maybe more, to go through everything. So I think there'll probably be a lot of questions. Now Tony's shaking his head. It's going to be fast. They're going to be like, yep, check, no problem. Okay. Good. Anything else on the presentation?
Nope, looks great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I will update that one slide. Give me a day or two, and then I'll send it around so everyone has it. Or I'll send out what I have right now, just that everyone has it, and then I'll update the slide and send it out. Then you have the final. Okay. So next on the agenda is next steps. But I think we've already covered that, right? We're probably as a committee don't need another meeting at this point. It's just getting in front of the select board and seeing where we're at that point. So minutes. Oh, Anne.
How do we approve minutes from meetings that aren't approved yet if we don't meet again?
Yeah, that's a good question. We probably need an administrative meeting to approve the final minutes, right? How do you approve the minutes for the final meeting where you're approving the minutes?
I was waiting for that one.
Existential crisis here. Has anyone ended a committee? Does this happen?
I guess you have to take the minutes while you're talking and then approve them and say no more talking.
That's it.
That's a good one. I like that.
Why don't we plan then to have, assuming we meet on the 17th, I don't think we need to meet next week, but why don't we plan to meet the 24th and just have a tidy up meeting? So if there's any outstanding minutes, we close them out. We close out the minutes for that meeting in real time. And if there's any, if there's anything that comes out of the select board meeting that we need to kind of tidy up or come back on, then we have that time. Does that make sense? So May 17th would be the select board. We probably need to post a meeting for that, right? So let me confirm that date, and if so, I'll post a meeting. And then we'll have the May 24th meeting to tidy up. Okay. So with that, the minutes that we have outstanding right now are the 10th, the 7th, the 21st, and the 26th. We have in hand the 10th, the 7th, and the 26th, I believe. I think the 21st, Tony, are you right? And we're still waiting on those. Am I right about that?
I will have those for our next meeting.
Yep. Nope. Good. So has everyone had a chance to look at the ones from the 10th, the 7th, and the 26th? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes from the April 10th, 17th.
Nope. 10th, 7th, 26th.
10th,
Sorry,
7th, and 26th.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Discussion? All right, then
On
let's.
the,
oh,
on
yep,
the
go
one,
ahead.
on the 7th, there's just a matter of a little alteration of the size of the font on and bold of the review. Little pesky thing. Issue 1, number 1 needs to be bold, and the down below it needs to have the font adjusted, but that's all I really found.
So Tony, that's yours. Do you want me to pull them up, or do you know what Joe's talking about?
I trust him to do it.
I will review for
Yeah.
font and bolding accuracy.
Yeah, it's not, it's
Nope,
pesky
nope.
thing. It's-
Yep.
That same thing happened to mine. I had a formatting issue going from a Word doc to docx. It's weird.
All right, are we okay to vote to approve with those updates? Okay, so I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Martell,
aye,
Ms. Rubenstein,
Aye.
Mr. Wood,
Aye.
Mr. Palmer,
Aye.
Ms. Latrell,
Aye.
Mr. Shoner,
Aye.
and I will vote aye. So the motion passes. And so that just leaves the minutes from the 21st. Today, which I guess I need a volunteer to do the ones for today.
I'll get them done.
All right. All right. So Joe for May 3rd. Do I have someone who would want to do them for the select board meeting? Because we'll have to post, right?
I'll do them.
Okay. Is that Anne? Oh, Mimi. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And then we'll meet on the 21st and 24th, and presumably we'll do them in real time. Great. So that brings us to unfinished business. I don't believe we have any at this point. Does anyone disagree?
I don't, but John, I ran into somebody this weekend, and about that $500,000 that wasn't in Shopsy. My recollection, what they told me, because there was a long conversation, was that originally the money was given from the CPC to Shopsy, but then it didn't get used, and so it was taken back. And that's where that mystery 500,000 was.
Yeah, what I realized through this whole process is I really don't have enough education on it to even speak where it went or any of that stuff. So
Feel that way every day.
What I'm hearing is there's $500,000 like buried somewhere in Southborough. And if you're just like ambitious enough, like you're gonna find it. Like there's money out there in them hills. So just get your shovel, I guess.
be nice to get it all in one place. So there was a couple of decent little pieces of property. It would have been handy to pick up for housing. But
Or just, dig it up, put it in your basement. No one knows where it is. It's gone. It's all gone. Anyway, moving on. Public comment. So I've got a couple folks in the audience. If anyone would like to speak, go ahead and just put your hand up and I will make you active. Okay, I have no hands. So next is our next meeting, which we have already discussed. I will finalize that we're on the 17th. I will confirm that. I'll just send a note around letting everyone know once that's final, with the request to be on at 7:30 in front of the select board. And that is all I have. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Oh, all right, great. We'll do a roll call. Mr. Martell,
aye.
Ms. Rubenstein,
Aye.
Mr. Wood,
aye.
Mr. Palmer,
Aye.
Ms. Latrell,
Aye.
Mr. Shoner,
Aye.
and I will vote aye. The motion carries and we are adjourned at 8:26.
Andrea,
See
I
everyone
job,
at town
everyone.
meeting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Andrew, you did an amazing job on those slides.
Yeah,
like
that
Tony
was
said.
great.
Thanks,
You
John.
really
Thank
did
you.
a great
Thank
job in
you.
that presentation. Thank you so
I
much
appreciate
for
it.
your
No,
hard work.
Thank you to everyone for the work that went into this. It really, like, when I was starting to look at like that it was all in 3 months, I was like, oh, that was a lot that happened. I mean, so I think it was a great job all around.
Yeah, I have to say this is probably the most efficient ad hoc committee I've been on. And I've been on committees with your dad, so that says something.
You know, I'll have to agree with you. And yes, I have been too.
Patience doesn't run in our family all that well. Um,
So now what we need to do is to get all of our other town committees to be this efficient.
We need to get Andrea and Ann on other town committees.
How about just Andrea?
yeah, and I heard your name was there. I heard it.
Yeah, but you run a great meeting.
Well, thank you.
They're nice and tight. You keep
We
us
like to
on
get things
schedule.
done. Yeah, we're moving towards something, right? So awesome. All right,
All
then.
right.
So we will
Thank
hopefully
you,
see you guys
everyone.
next live and
Thanks,
in
everybody.
person. All
See you
right.
tomorrow.
In 2
Town meeting.
weeks.
Yep. All right.
Oh,
Bye,
a town
everyone.
meeting, yes.
Bye.